So I want to see if I'm really online, and so give me 1 second here and see if I can see the stream up and running. And if that's the case, we are going to go live in just a second. Right, I can't see the stream, which is a little bit frustrating, but hold on, let me do this. Stay with me here. Okay, I think I'm live. I can't see it on my cell phone, and I apologize for this. So with that said, with that out of the way, let me go right ahead and see what we're going to talk about today. So today is March 15th, 2020, and you may have seen a small little something going on in the news currently, which is called the coronavirus or COVID-19, which has caused some dramatic changes in the goals I have set out for this month. So why don't we just go and see what happened. I started this month very strong. I planned out the whole month until beginning of April, and I was well on my way to hit all the goals. I started strong. I released 2 new blog posts in the first week, and I was on track to continue to release podcasts for one of these blog posts, and I was on my way to write a third blog for the month when the coronavirus hit like a bomb. What I mean with that is that the not only was the stock market affected, which is less of a concern, but also schools have been postponed for the next 4 weeks. Both my boys will be learning from home. There is no soccer training also for the next 4 weeks for my 2 kids, so they're going to be at home and running up the walls. There was a field trip with the soccer team planned for my youngest son to go to Argentina. That obviously has been cancelled, which is very unfortunate. It was a very, very good opportunity for my son to interact and see international players. So we hope that this will not be completely cancelled, but that they will pick up the pieces once the dust settles with regard to the virus, and eventually go on the trip, maybe in late summer or maybe next year. Then the other thing is my company asked me to work from home, and my wife is also going to work from home for the next 2 weeks, and that's all happening here in the Northern Virginia area. So coronavirus has dramatically impacted not only the blog but all of our lives, and I hope you're all staying healthy and safe and take the appropriate measures. So the stock market has been declining, has been up and down, 2,000 points up and 2,000 points down and 1,000 points up, 1,000 points down. It was a crazy roller coaster ride, and it's something that is really a once in not a lifetime, but is something that only happens a few times in your life, where a market is in such a turmoil. So I have spent a lot of time actually researching, listening to Bloomberg, and visiting certain other financial blogs regarding the stock market for obvious reasons. And since I had a little bit of play money, so to speak, in my trading account, I also played a little bit in the stock market. And if the trades will turn, I firmly believe those will eventually turn positive. And I'm fully willing and capable to hold on to those trades for many years if I need to, but my assumption is that I will be holding on for them to those trades for probably about 6 months to a year, and will then trade in the positive. We'll see how it works out. Only the future will tell, but everyone knows that the coronavirus eventually will go away, and stock markets or the stocks and the picks that I made are certainly going to weather the storm. I also believe that with the current where the stock market currently is at, I believe 23,000 something. This is not going to be the low. Before Friday, the stock market was actually down to 21,000, and I can see it fall all the way down to maybe another 5,000 points, but don't quote me on it. Do your own research and do what's in your best interest. I just can't see this much of an impact to the economy, and this Dow Jones basically hanging in these areas in the intermediate term. So I still do expect some movement down to happen before things turn up, but I'm not a financial advisor, so please be careful and do as you think is what is the best for you. I also spent the time I spent on Bloomberg was really helpful to see actually what's going on in the rest of the world, and especially in Europe currently, which is shutting down whole countries. All of Italy, all of Spain, and France is affected as well. And I'm fairly certain that Germany and some of the smaller countries in Europe will follow soon as well. And if things continue to go down that path, I think America is going to be the next epicenter, and we will probably see certain states shutting down, not the whole country at once, but one at a time. Who knows? We'll see what the next couple of weeks bring, but eventually we'll get over it and life will continue. The one thing that I worked on for the blog just before all of this happened was actually to create a jingle, and unfortunately for technical reason I can't show you or let you hear the jingle right now, but I will certainly do this once I convert it to this session into a podcast, which I'm fully inclined to do. I will include the jingle here, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you may not hear it, but if you're watching this on my podcast, you will actually hear the jingle shortly. The jingle was actually a lot of fun to create, and I could have just ordered one from Fiverr, paid $20 for a jingle, for an intro and an outro, but I decided to save the money and have some fun creating this jingle for myself. I was using freesound.org. In case you have not heard of it, just go to the website freesound.org, and you'll find a lot of sound snippet for any type of special effects or sound effects that you need or you are looking for. What else? So I am planning in also writing a blog about which stocks I picked and why I picked those. So if you're interested in these, just hold on tight. This should come out shortly. And always remember, it's not advice. It's just what I did and why I decided to do so. For the blog, furthermore, I have not installed or played with any plugins or any major improvements to it yet, but I have had in the goals for March a couple of fixes I wanted to do to the blog, so these will be postponed until I find the time to take care of them. So with that said, let's move on to my income from advertising. And I was trying to get the numbers from media.net to see how many impressions I have achieved so far, but I was unable to log in until just about a minute before I started this podcast here on YouTube. In which case, and I took up the numbers, and I found that since the start of using media.net, I have over 5,000 impressions through this advertising channels, and I haven't received a single penny so far for these impressions, which is really sad. I really need to see if it is worthwhile to continue down that path, and probably I'm going to switch over to either another advertising provider, or what I'm currently leaning to, I want to see if I can replace advertising with actually affiliate links on my own. This will require some additional work, but I have looked into sharesale.com, which seem to be offering exactly what I'm looking for. So I just need to get my process in order so that I know how to deal with these offerings when I publish them into different blog posts and onto the main page, and see how that goes as opposed to using advertising. The other thing that happened with AdX.network, the second advertising network that I used, is that they introduced some changes to their terms of services, and they blocked all the ads to be displayed for almost 2 weeks from my site, because I had to fill in some additional information. I had to make sure that my site is in compliance, which as of the beginning of last week it was, and since then I had a total of 3 ads being displayed. So this really seems to be more a joke than anything else. The fill rate should always be above 50% in my opinion, and if you have let's say 1,000 impressions to your website in a week, which by itself is very, very low, but if you have these numbers, then you should see at least 500 impressions on your ads, which, with only 3 impressions is rather not worth it. So I will definitely move on from AdX.network, and maybe at some later point reconsider it, but for now this network seems to be lacking the proper inventory to display ads on your site, or I am just not ranked high enough on their algorithm to be shown any advertising. Mopub is the advertising channels for my apps, my Android apps that I have, and the story is that AdSense kicked me out, which caused AdMob, the Google ads for Android apps, to also stop serving ads. So my second business, which cost me, or where I received about $500 each month passively through my ads in my Android apps, has gone down dramatically. Mopub provides just a very, very small fraction of the income from AdMob, and I received $18 in March so far, and for the total of the whole year up until now, March 15, I received $84 in ads income, and this $84 I will only get my hands on once I exceed $100, which will most likely happen by the end of this month, and from there on it's another 2 months before they will actually cut a check to me. So this is rather a small income stream, but an income stream nevertheless. The one thing that I wanted to do, which I have not had time to do now, is to integrate it with my Facebook, or to integrate the Facebook advertising network, which I have heard pays much better than other advertising platforms. And once I do this, I hope to increase my return on investment. With that said, let's go and take a quick peek at what was going on with Pinterest. I wanted to pop up to prop up the podcasts and utilize Pinterest to advertise the podcast as well. But the virus sidetracked all of these set goals, and I have to adjust to new realities and to new regime to follow, to utilize my available time. And I did create the intro jingle, as I said before, and that was a lot of fun. So once, or pretty shortly, I will most likely convert one of my blog posts to a podcast where you can hear the jingle intro, and by then I should also have an outro jingle for that blog post podcast. The strategy is currently to grow the blog content and to add podcasts and YouTube to the mix, and this will, I hope, over time increase the overall followership. So as I am currently live streaming this to YouTube and I'm looking at the participants, there is really nobody here listening. So if you're listening to this, thank you for chiming in, but I'm no longer live. And the reach and the number of people that have visited me through Pinterest in this month so far, from March 1st to March 15th, is about 50% less than it was last month. And this is understandable because a lot of people are likely not going to look for additional income when they have to worry about buying toilet paper for some reason, and other non-perishable foods to be prepared in the case that they have to self-quarantine and stay at home for 2 weeks. So this is understandable. I do expect that once this whole thing blows over, my numbers go to, or I certainly hope above what I have had in the last couple of months. So going back up to 20,000 impressions or better. I am currently, for the last 2 weeks, at 5,000 impressions, and I will continue to provide content to the blog, and I hope this will change things around. Tailwind is again again a very important tool for me. I am using it to stay always about 1 week ahead, so that my queue is always full and I have content to post to Pinterest every single day. So I will continue using Tailwind as the main means for me to publish to Pinterest, and that has worked out quite well so far. And the blog expenses this month have been exactly $0, so that is a good thing. And the blog income has been exactly $0, and that is a bad thing. With that said, I am done with going over all I wanted to talk about, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you for maybe suggestions of what to talk about next and what can be done next. Definitely the intent of these Ask Me Anything Sundays is not that I sit here and talk to myself. I would really like some of you to chime in live and ask me questions, or send me questions through my contact form, and I can go over those and answer the questions. As you can see from my income and expenses, I am struggling to earn money through this blog, and I want to be honest and forward here, and really offer a way for everyone to see that it is not as easy to earn money with a blog as it seems to be when you go to Pinterest and you search for blog income, right? I've heard stories, or I read stories from people claiming to earn thousands of dollars in the first or second month after starting a blog, and for the vast majority of people, this is simply not the case. And this is not the reason why I started the blog. I have always had blogs, and I had always really liked to contribute to the community and provide my my view of things, so that other people don't feel too bad if it doesn't work out for them. It doesn't seem to be working out too well for me financially, but on the flip side, it is a lot of fun creating these videos, these posts, and these podcasts. So I'm gonna stick in there. I'm going to continue writing and providing content for all of you, and see what happens in a couple of years. And with that said, I'm Vagel. It's Sunday, March 15th, and over and out.